Saitama, Superman.
We're taking it all into plays. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Life is pain, brutal and short. The challenges we face during our brief sojourn on this tiny blue marble are what make us human. They light a fire in our soul. They make it all worth something. Without them, we are lost.
Yeah, it's a little early in the day for an existential crisis, but luckily I came prepared.
For this failed salaryman, all it took to get that fiery passion back was to save this butt-chin child from a crab monster in underwear. That was a sentence.
This man was Saitama, and he was going to be a superhero.
And so he trained, pushing his body beyond its limits and shattering the boundaries of humanity.
So hard, his frickin' hair fell out.
Saitama's strength grew exponentially day by day, with the goal of becoming the greatest hero who ever lived.
And much to his horror, that's exactly what he got.
All it took was one punch. Damn it!
He became too strong. He became the one, the only, the infamous Caped Baldy.
But anyone who's cool knows him as One Punch Man, as in he can't help but beat almost every opponent he's faced in exactly one punch. One friggin' punch! And this is a universe with some pretty whacked out monsters, like a giant who's over 1/4 kilometer tall and can stomp city-sized craters into the earth.
Or an Esper who can effortlessly pull giant meteors from outer space.
Or a Monster King who shaved off a continent from the Earth's surface and lifted it into the stratosphere. And Saitama's never even broken so much as a sweat fighting any of them.
During their battle, that same Monster King absorbed this huge chunk of the Earth's core and fired it at Saitama,
who blocked it by squirt gunning some lava at it. The lava he was bathing in, naked. And then he punched him. Surprise.
Saitama's created after images just by hopping side to side, defeated a martial arts master with his butt, and survived the inhospitable vacuum of space after being kicked all the way to the moon and before jumping back to Earth in about 16 seconds. That's 8% the speed of light.
Kinda like the time he blocked attacks from this alien dude who stated to move near light speed or punch so fast his fist starts to blue shift. You know, that thing that happens when you approach the speed of light?
Saitama utilizes his absurdly superhuman strength and speed with techniques like his devastating normal punch. And if he wants to amp it up, the consecutive normal punches.
Are you kidding me? Those are his attack names? What kind of self-respecting anime protagonist is he?
Plain and simple, he's a satire of one. Instead of seeing his journey from the beginning and enjoying his struggle to the top, we join him when he's already there.
Basically, imagine if Goku went Super Saiyan in his fight against Jackie Chun. Kinda sucks all the drama out of it, doesn't it?
And that's the point. Far from the power fantasy the genre is known for, Saitama's life became an existential nightmare. Without suitable conflict, the struggle that had heretofore defined him became meaningless. His new reality was inescapably boring.
Which is really saying something when he can decimate mountains without even hitting them, or shatter asteroids that rank a 9 on the Torino scale. For those not in the Torino, that's equal to 1 trillion tons of TNT. This guy's training must have been insane.
That would be 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10-kilometer run every single day. And that's it.
You've got to be shitting me.
It doesn't make sense because it's not allowed to make sense. To be fair though, to someone who isn't already a trained soldier or athlete, keeping that workout routine every day for years is pretty much impossible.
While 100 push-ups and sit-ups are technically doable, especially if you space them out, doing 100 squats and then running half a marathon every single day would absolutely destroy your legs.
Put simply, effective workouts involve shredding muscle fibers at the micro level, then allowing them time to repair themselves more durable than before. This repair process requires hydration, consuming protein and carbohydrates, and lots of sleep.
But Saitama's workout schedule doesn't give them time to repair, which means he was basically just ripping himself to shreds over and over and over. After a few days, he shouldn't even have been able to move, but he just kept going.
There might be an explanation. Take the brilliant scientist Dr. Genus, whose half-century of research into evolution Saitama erased in well, one punch. According to Genus's hypothesis, Saitama's training broke his limiter.
Basically, every living thing on Earth has a limit to their natural abilities. At some point, no matter how badass they are, they'll plateau. Wait a minute. Have I peaked? I gotta go to the gym!
Well, Saitama trained so hard, he literally defied the laws of nature and reality. He just breaks the logic of his world. He crushed the entire field of evolutionary biology in the palm of his hand.
And while he has stated that his strength did eventually stop growing, it's pretty clear he's never gotten close to showing it off in full.
Such as when he fought the godlike alien conqueror Lord Boros, and finally broke out his serious punch. A blow where he punches a little harder than normal.
And reflected Boros' collapsing star-roaring cannon. Now, you see, that's an attack name. An energy blast that was going to blow up the friggin' planet. That's over 50 zetatons of TNT. Like a quadrillion of the world's strongest nukes going off at once.
Despite his obvious and overwhelming power, Saitama's accomplishments were never officially recognized. As if no one in their right minds could believe a psych ward Charlie Brown could save the world.
Well, he doesn't seem to mind. Almost as if being removed from anything resembling conflict gave him a perspective on how tropey and contrived his world is. Only Saitama's the only one in on the joke, because who cares about how far up their own ass a supervillain is when you can just chill at home with your buds and play video games?
Maybe that was the real lesson all along. Not to value our lives based on our accomplishments, but on the time we spend living and enjoying life's simple pleasures.
I'll leave that to Saitama, and I can't think of anything more pleasurable than punching so hard my name becomes a byword for literally unbeatable. The dude is the undisputed king of broken anime characters, because until Saitama finds his equal, he's gonna end all his fights in one punch!
Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman.
Geez, just a locomotive? People in the 40s needed bigger imaginations.
Born on the far-off world of Krypton, the infant Kal-El was sent to Earth by his parents, narrowly escaping Krypton's destruction. Raised by farmers as Clark Kent, he eventually became Superman, champion of the oppressed, the man of tomorrow.
If you've only seen the movies, forget him. Comic book Clark's not the perfect Boy Scout, and he's definitely not Jesus. Wait, weren't the guys who made him Jewish?
Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster were sons of Jewish immigrants and grew up in a time when anti-Semitism went largely unchallenged.
And then that ugly mustache showed up.
Understandably seeking escape from some truly terrifying horrors, the pair created Superman to be a simple solution to overwhelming problems.
A hero who could defeat any evil by just punching it. Hell yeah, that's how I live my life.
After almost 9 decades, Superman has been many things. At the core, his story is one of a refugee, a child who lost his home, left to the mercy of alien people. This new world accepted him, raised him, gave him a new home, because helping others in need is the right thing to do. That's why he became a superhero, the first superhero.
Everything's gotta start somewhere, but he was the first one to really take off. I mean, not literally. It took a while, actually, before he learned how to fly.
In fact, when Clark discovered his Kryptonian heritage, he struggled to accept it and subconsciously developed mental blocks, severing him from his true power, which he would uncover throughout his life.
He's strong enough to shoulder press the weight of the Earth for 5 days straight, or crush coal into perfectly cut diamond.
That's not how that works.
He's fast enough to reach the edge of the universe in seconds, or even break the bonds of infinity. Wait, he can do all that, but Batman can punch him out? Really?
You're probably thinking of Elseworld stories outside main canon like Dark Knight Returns. It's a good question though. Superman's powers have fluctuated over time for a variety of reasons. However, for Death Battle, we take the characters at their best.
Yeah, like how his breath is so powerful he can sneeze away a solar system, or blow air cold enough to freeze ghosts!
Speaking of, his X-ray vision doesn't just see through walls, he can see through your own body and mind to examine your soul.
And yet, he can't see through lead. That's okay though, he can just burn through it with his face. Since he gets his power from the yellow sun, his heat vision burns with the fire of a star. And if beams aren't enough, he can blast it out of his whole body for a super flare. It used to totally drain him, but he's learned how to control it.
Simply put, Superman's powers defy physics. My favorite examples of this are when he rebuilt the reality warping miracle machine from memory, or punched Brainiac so hard every version of him felt it through all of time, or or when he gained 10 years worth of medical training through only 5 minutes of reading and then successfully performed lung surgery.
Nice. My favorite example is when he smelled brownies in North Dakota from orbit.
Even beyond his powers, Superman is no novice when it comes to the intricacies of battle.
He's trained in Kryptonian martial arts, which uses chi, or as they call it, Shriar. He even got summoned to Asgard to fight demons with Thor for 1,000 years.
Superman can resist being erased from existence, such as tanking Darkseid's Omega Beams. Even Retcon and the Time Trapper, both of which hijack and alter timelines, can't touch him. Not because of his powerful mental defenses or healing factor, but because he's a cosmic linchpin in the greater metaverse.
Timelines literally revolve around him.
But let's address the S-shaped elephant in the room. You may have noticed we've covered a variety of Superman eras. Superman, and DC Comics as a whole, have gone through multiple retcons.
Golden Age, Silver Age, Pre-Crisis, Post-Crisis, New 52, Rebirth, and so on.
It would help to know which one is the main Superman, right? Well, they all are.
Yeah, the latest reboots basically said everything in the main series is kinda canon, even when he had wacky powers like changing his appearance with a super muscular control. Ew, I guess he can still phase through almost anything, even people.
Look, if you really dig into it, this isn't new. Plenty of characters have recalled events from supposedly retcon timelines before.
Yeah, post-crisis Supes did start as less powerful than in pre-crisis, but that was because of the mental blocks.
Though he's not a complete composite, there's so many other Supermen out there.
Future Superman, Big Robot Superman, Commie Superman, Dinosaur Superman. There's a bunch.
Still, this new canon has affected his abilities. For example, he and other Kryptonians can effortlessly travel through time. And while Superman's powers stem from the Earth's yellow sun, exposure to a blue star increases them even further. In fact, upon visiting a white star, he attained a whole new level of power.
When that old baldy Lex teleported him to another galaxy, Superman just popped back up, saying space-time has lost its meaning for him. He really just said that.
Remember, Superman defies physics.
Like when he used heat vision to restart the universe by making an all-new Big Bang.
We've seen that his universe has a radius of at least 100 trillion light years, but we can calculate a more exact figure. The DC universe is 15 billion years old and expands at 60 trillion light years per half second. This means its radius must be over 50 nonillion light years across.
What? That's 31 zeros, and Supes helped make that happen.
Well, about 1/5 of it. That's still immense power, but if you want something bigger, here's the Anti-Monitor blasting Golden Age Superman with all the energy of the antimatter universe. And then Superman,
punched him so hard it kickstarted another one of those reboots.
Now, Superman does have weaknesses. There's kryptonite, of course, and exposure to red starlight can fade his powers over time.
Not all at once. He has been able to move planets around while under a red star, so...
And everyone knows Superman can't deal with magic, but it's more accurate to say he doesn't have any special resistances to it. He's defeated plenty of magic users before, even Shazam.
Superman challenges the idea that absolute power corrupts absolutely. He's the goodest good guy of them all, but there is nuance to being good, even if he is the ultimate power fantasy, unstoppable and incorruptible.
Such as when he took on the World Forger, one of the most powerful reality shapers in all of creation.
Who was in the 6th dimension, crafting a whole new multiverse to replace the one Clark calls home. Who's gonna stop him?
Superman could, and the Forger knew it. So he was trapped on a world with a sun so distant he could never escape. Or so the Forger thought.
Instead, Clark found the strength he needed to fly at that sun, dip through a ton of stars, KO the World Forger, and shatter his new multiverse with a single punch. Because that's Superman, a simple solution to overwhelming problems.
He's the kind of person to save a cat from a tree, answer Christmas cards from strangers, and tow hundreds of planets to a new galaxy all in the same day. What's not to like?
Truth and justice has no better champion than the Man of Steel.
Whoa there. I'm gonna need you to stop right where you are.
Huh?
I'm in the middle of hero work. I'll sign the autographs later.
What are you, some kind of hero?
I'm just a guy who's a hero for fun.
Well, you're doing a sloppy job. You've caused too much damage in the process. I'm gonna need you to come with me.
Okay. And you said I did a sloppy job. You're able to withstand all of my blows. I'm actually impressed.
This is not a game!
Now, where was I going?
Oh, right! They had a sale today!